G'day, how you all going there? Well, today's video, I really didn't know where I was going to start with it. I've made a heap of notes here to talk about the patrol, but today's video is not a walk through video. I'm not going to walk around and talk about the patrol. I've done that probably about 12 months ago. Today's video is just about the patrol and us owning it, where it's taken us, and a few things that I've done to it over the years, and just general upkeep of the actual patrol itself. So I guess let's start at the showroom. So 13 years ago, we're in the market for a 4-wheel drive, not necessarily a new one, but just happened to be that we went down to Nissan. We walked around the yard, we're looking at a few second-hand cars at the time, and then we walked into the showroom and we saw this actual patrol sitting in the showroom floor. Now when we were down there, it was May of 2007. So this one here was a run out sale. So at the time they were coming out with alloy bull bars. It had a roof rack, had a tow bar, all the window deflectors and floor mats and all those extra things. Now I didn't want some of that stuff, so what I got Nissan to do was take the alloy bull bar off, switch that out for a steel winch bar, get rid of the ugly Nissan roof rack that came on it. So in replace for the roof rack, we got them to put in a cargo barrier for us. So with 2 kids, and at the time our youngest Chloe, she was only 6 months old, so having a cargo barrier is definitely a worthy addition. Yeah, like I mentioned, we had the tow bar on it as well. So it had all those little extras, and yeah, we bought it. So we were quite happy with it. It was a replacement for our 2001 Hilux, which I'd had for about 4 years. So in that time the Hilux had done 120,000 Ks with a couple of kids, and we just wanted something to get a bit more comfy, a bit more roomy inside the actual car as well. It was going to be either a Land Cruiser or a Patrol. There was a few other cars that sort of in our line of vision, but yeah, we just ended up jumping on to the Patrol. So in that 13 years, 400,000 kilometres, it's taken us to every state and territory around Australia. So some of the things I have done in that 400,000 kilometres, we've gone through 7 sets of tyres. Now we ran the first set, just ran them out. They lasted about 17,000 Ks and they were in the bin. And then I did go for a couple of sets of Mickey Thompson MTZ. I still left the 265. We were planning, and which we did, which I'll talk about later, hitting the road for about 4.5 months. So I just wanted the 265 size tyre purely because towing and everything like that. We didn't need a 33-inch tyre at that point, or a 285, which is what's on there now. So it had MTZs, a couple of sets of those, a couple of sets of the Mickey Thompson ATZ 4 ribs, and this is my second set of KM2s, which are getting pretty close to replacement time for those. So that'll be 8 sets. So the first mods I did to the Patrol, so pretty much in no particular order, I did these in pretty sort of close succession. I added a snorkel. I just went with the factory Nissan snorkel. Went for the tradesman oval roof rack, so I've got one with a mesh floor to replace the roof rack that came off at the showroom. Dual battery system, just went to projector, dual battery kit, GME UHF, and shockers. So shocks and coils, 2-inch lift. So with the 2-inch lift, the first set I'd done, just used the first ones, like little bicycle pumps. They were pretty much useless. But once I knew what I wanted to do to the car, I got that all suited up. So I ran those for a while. I then switched to Ironman coils after having a few issues with shockers with the first set that I had on it. The Ironman ones, they didn't last too long either. I was on an outback trip. Well, actually the first set, I was on an outback trip, noticed dots of oil on the back window. I blew a shock. We were up at Charlieville. The only shocks I could get up there was a set of Ironman, so I threw those in. At that time as well, I was also running poly-air airbags inside the coils. I was towing a lot of different trailers for different companies, doing photo shoots and magazine articles for 4 Drive, camping magazines, things like that. So that's why I had the coils with the poly-airs inside, which worked really well. And I'm currently running Old Man Emu, which have been in there for a while now, and they're still holding up pretty well. What else was it? So next thing I added after that was the Osbar, which is made by Kmart on the rear. This particular Osbar is the prototype that Kmart made for the Series 4. Well, it actually goes from Series 1 out to Series 4, 5, 6. So you can actually, on all the brochures, will see my car on it. Being the prototype, they used it for the photo shoots, and it was on the stand at the Melbourne 4 Drive Show on the Kmart stand. So they used the car for all the photo shoots. I actually had it with the twin wheels on the back for those, and then I went back and ended up leaving it with the jerry can holders on the back. So that's a really good addition to the car. You know, that was in about 2014 I did that. One thing I've been quite unlucky with the Patrol is windscreens. I think I'm on my 6th or 7th windscreen. I don't know, I just must be some sort of magnet for these things, but I've seen rocks come and flying, so I've done them all over the country actually. I was making a bit of a list where I'd done one. I did do one up at Karratha in the top of WA, heading in there, just a road train or something got me there. Heading out of the car park on a separate trip, we're at Parks. We just stopped to see the dish, we're on our way up to Queensland. Coming out of the road there, just on that little road there, car went off the side, bang, another windscreen done there. I did one at Corryong, up on the New South Wales Victorian border, just out that way. One at Mansfield, which is pretty understandable, the amount of time on the high country. And I did one on Eastlink, so I just had a tipper turn a corner. I actually watched the rock bounce, hit the road, flew up and smashed into the screen. And yes, it does have a bit of a crack in it at the moment, but I've got to get that sorted out. Engine wise, this is the biggest question I get asked with the ZD30. How does the ZD30 go? How do you like it? What's done? Has it grenaded and all this sort of stuff? Well, I've had a really good run, to be perfectly honest, out of mine. So I've done 2 viscous hubs, which is part of the water pump housing. I've done 3 idler pulleys. I did go a cheaper one at one time, but I always put on genuine parts. Now, I went a cheaper option once, 30,000 Ks, that was in the bin, back to a genuine one after that, but I'm finding you don't get as long out of the genuine ones, even from that original one out of the factory. Had 2 intercoolers leaking, and 1 alternator I've done. Otherwise, all the rest is pretty good. It did do a head, so these are known for cracking the heads from the glow plugs. So it was just the slightest little hairline crack, and that was at 232,000 Ks. So when the head was replaced, I did injectors, did every hose you could see, new radiator at the time as well. I can't even think what else I did. It was quite a few. I added the EGT gauge and everything else in it as well. So the head was all done. It pretty much, I just hopped in it, drove it to Mansfield, come back. We did a full coolant system flush and cleaned it all out. And then the very next day, this is all within 3 days, I chucked the trailer on the back, grabbed my 2 girls, and we shot up to Merimbula for a few days just to give it a good test for that one. The clutch, I'll read a lot of things online about these. Some guys get about 90,000, 100,000, 120,000. I don't know whether they're sitting in bog holes or mud or how they're driving. Now my clutch was okay. The thrust bearing went at 332,000 kilometres. So that was still the dual mass. I've now got the single mass in there. So that got all fitted. It's actually just down in Patrol apart. So that was really good. So that's pretty much all it's done. I'm still running the standard size exhaust. A tin of windows was something else. That was one of the first, nearly one of the first mods I'd done as well. Well, not a mod, but an addition to the car. But yeah, I'm not going to walk through awnings and all this sort of stuff as well. But yeah, just sort of mechanically wise. Yeah, so clutch, original starter motor. I've done 1 alternator, which is just a wear item. Yeah, suspension, tyres, and just drive it. I just drive it and just really enjoy it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the places this car's taken me. well, pretty much well, it must have been the second or third day I had it. We had a bit of snow down at home, and Chloe, like I mentioned, was only 6 months old. Put her in the car, and at the time I still had the Hilux sitting at home, and that was fully decked out with winch and muddies and all your stuff. And I hopped in this, still had the highway terrains on it, no winch or anything. We went straight up into the hills there. It was quite interesting. It was like I was a beginner up there with no recovery gear. Got quite slippery coming through. There was a tree down, come through and just put some marks straight in it. And I reckon the car only had maybe like 200 or 300 k's on it at the time. So that was its very first trip out into four-wheel driving, and wasn't even low range, just on a good forestry road. But yeah, that was the first trip out. I've got quite a few places like this. Like high country is just, we're up there 2 to 3 times a month. I didn't realise how often we were sort of going up there at one point, but we were doing it all the time. Just looking through old photos that I had. Yeah, a lot of great trips, a lot of great memories with a lot of great mates as well that we're still friends with now, good friends with, who we've met through four-wheel driving and stuff like that. So a lot of the trips that were all logged on the 4 Drive Action Forum, the My Swag Camper Trailer Forum, and 4 Drive Adventurers Forum, which I was a big part of as well. But forums have pretty much gone the wayside, so yeah, Instagram's where it's at now, I guess. Now, a lot of the trips we've done, like I'll just touch on a few here, like around Melbourne, Victoria, sorry. So yeah, Grampians, we've done a bit down there. We've been across like all around the state. Little desert, we've done border track, high country, yeah, beaches all the way, followed the border way along, so much Murray camping as well. Across to South Australia quite a bit. I do like it over in South Australia, so we've been across to Robe and stuff like that. I only did that, well, it feels like recently, but it's probably about 12 months ago. But yeah, across that side quite a bit. We've done a lot of different trips, like a lot of these trips are all separate. So yeah, like I said, first big trip with the trailer on the back was an old trailer we had. We went up to Swan Hill, just bit of a shakedown trip. Later that year I actually did a big outback trip with another mate in his car. So yeah, Grampians, we've done Burke, Potato Point, up past Merimbula, and then on the way home from that we actually came back through the Wadbilliga National Park, which drops through into Jindabyne and back through Thredbo, and we went up Mount Pinnabar and stuff like that. That was all just by ourselves. We just left the trailer there and crossed the river and straight up Mount Pinnabar. That was a good trip. Done Walhalla. Night snow runs were we did a lot of them at one point. We're just going out, this is back before Instagram and stuff, but yeah, we're going out doing a lot of night snow drives, outback trips. Oh gosh, I don't know where to start. We've done the Flinders a few times. I've also gone, done the Darling River run. We've done like Inaminka and all around there, Cameron's Corner. All those areas, Corner Country, Silverton, all those sort of places through there. Got caught in a massive dust storm out there. That was one of the memorable ones. Was a dust storm in 2009. It was a massive storm. Those of you that are in New South Wales would remember Sydney getting blanketed. Well, we were actually out. We got caught at Nakundra pub, and they closed all the roads when we got in the Tibooburra. You could not see the hand in front of your face. We actually pulled over quite a few times. That was a really memorable trip. Like Big River, I've been up to Bylong to the 4 Drive Park up there. We've done Coffs Harbour, the Glass House, up to Bundaberg, the Pyrenees, back down here in Victoria, the Strathbogie State Forest, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we've definitely done lots of memorable trips there. Now my probably most memorable year in the patrol, which I pretty much spent a year on top of doing writing magazine and travel articles. One of probably the biggest year I had in the patrol was 10 years ago now, but I've done a lot of trips in between. But that year, 2010, was a massive year. So I bought a camper trailer from Sydney, shot up there and back overnight, got back, changed the rego over. Within a few days, we did a high country trip with it, got back about actually it was close to like 2 or 3, only but like a week later, we did a trip back up to the Brindabellas. So we did up there, Wombi and Caves, and that was a trip, a DVD camper trailer trip with 4-drive action magazines. So we had Ruthie was with us, and Brody, Matt Felberg was a photographer, and Anthony Wary is a photographer on that one. And we just went out and just spent 5 days exploring some really, really good areas. I have since been back to the Brindabellas and the Wee Jasper area, but that was a really memorable trip. Now after that trip, 6 weeks after that one, we'd actually set a date for May the 1st. So if you're ever looking at doing a big lap, biggest thing to do is set a date. So we saved our butts off for about 3 or 4 years to actually hit the road. So we pulled the kids, so one was in school at the time, we pulled the oldest one out of school, and we hopped in the car and left. And we drove about 200 metres, and then we realised we forgot the kids' jackets, so we turned around, drove back, hopped back in the car, and off we went. So we actually went out through the Flinders. So everywhere that's within 2 weeks travel of us, we just avoided. So straight in the patrol, we had everything set up, and at the time, solar panels and all that were well over $1,000 and all this sort of stuff, so we didn't have any of that gear. So we went out through the Flinders, back out, did Udendata track, back in Ayers Rock, up through the centre, Darwin, or Kakadu, Darwin, and then across to WA. We spent close to 3 months in WA. So we did the Kimberley, we spent a lot of time around that area, in and out of Broome like 3 or 4 times, 80 Mile Beach, and then we did across to Karratha. I actually did get, well, probably didn't get it in Port Hedland, but just accumulated, I had water in my fuel, so the car was jerking around a bit. So I just swapped out the fuel filter, and we're good to go again. We did the Millstream, followed the iron ore railway line out to the west coast, and just soaked up every beach all the way through, and then all the way dropped into Perth and followed the bottom of the coast all the way through. That trip there was probably one of the most memorable trips, for obvious reasons. We actually made a picture book of it all. So that's really cool. What other trips have I got? Oh, that's probably a lot to do, a lot of the trips we've done, but as a whole, it's probably sort of rambled on a little bit here. As a whole, would I buy another ZD30? Yes, I would. How have I got 400,000 kilometres out of this one? Well, I think it comes down to servicing. I service this thing pretty much, I think the most it's ever gone over is 200 Ks. I always use genuine parts. Oil filters, air filter, fuel filter is always genuine. Genuine coolant is in there as well. I got asked one day, I was getting some genuine parts down at Petrola Part, and the lady goes, oh, why don't you buy non-genuine? It was just another customer there getting some things, and I said, well, for an extra $5 or $6, I'll just get the genuine stuff. So I've always used genuine. I do fuel filters, you know, servicing's every 20. You can, a fuel filter, you can do it every 40. I do mine every 10 or 20,000. Fuel, I pretty much only ever put BP diesel in it. I reckon that helps a lot. And something else that I always do is don't let the fuel tank get too low. I think I've only ever seen the fuel light come on twice, and I reckon that was within the first month of owning it. I've never seen that fuel light come on again. I just don't let it run low. I just, you know, sucking all your gunk from the bottom of the tank and all that sort of stuff. So I'll just drive it to get to a point, just fill it up when it gets down there. No point to stretch it out. Yeah, and just drive them with mechanical sympathy a bit as well. Just listen to what they're doing, moans and groans, anything new, just have a look at it, pull over, whatever it is, just suss out what it is. It's spent a lot of time in low range over the time of owning it. Something else I'll touch on is the front hubs. A lot of people complain about those auto locking hubs. I always lock mine manually. Apparently I'm no mechanic or anything, but when you lock them in, they lock in a lot further over a spline or something like that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I remember reading it once on the patrol forums, and since that time I've always just locked them in manually. Never had an issue, never had a drama with the hub. I've done the other thing on the servicing, I've done 2 lots of axle seals in the front. Yeah, still original diff. Main thing I do a lot of is upgrading like all the bushes and all that sort of stuff. But that's all genuine as well. All the sway bar links are all new, sway bar bushes and rubbers as well. But yeah, I don't know. I just go genuine all the time. I don't know. I know there's a lot of different options. Engine mods, catch can, and EGT gauge. That is all I've done. I haven't gone looking for anything different with that. That's just, yeah, just catch can, EGTs, and I drive it to the EGTs. Anytime it gets sort of close to that 500, if I'm going up a long hill climb, just back it off. You're going to get to the top of the hill eventually. Just drop it down one and then cruise off. Because I forgot to mention before that it is a manual as well. Well, obviously if I've done a clutch. Yeah, that's all I can really think of. I know I've rambled on for quite a bit. 20 minutes of me sitting here roughly probably might get a bit boring, but yeah, if you like it, thank you very much for sticking around so long. Any questions at all about the Patrol with my personal experience, I'm more than happy to answer those in the comments down below. Yeah, this is a video I've been looking forward to doing for a while, so I'll see. Hopefully you enjoy it. Feel free to click subscribe, and if you can, give us a thumbs up. It does mean a lot to us when you do that as well. And I will see you all next time. And don't forget, if you do see us out and about, don't be shy. Come over and say good day, or give us a wave if you see us driving around. Got new stickers on the side of the car now too, so you can't miss us. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.